Hi, this is Linda Mullen from Back to the Beach Software, and I'm here today to show you how you can have forms on your website in 3 easy steps. The first step is design the form, the second step is to group the form, and the third step is to test the form and receive the information in your email. This little guy in the middle doesn't look like he believes me, but I'm going to show him how easy it is. Let's start with design. Today I'm designing a form for Green Music Studio. They're having an annual music recital. They want their students to tell them whether or not they will be attending the recital and whether or not they are bringing any guests. This little image on the right-hand side is a screenshot of the finished form. For the sake of time, I began the design already before we got online. The black rectangle has a yellow border. This is a white rectangle with a very wide yellow border for design. These are really just text objects. You can put any kind of design feature with your form that you'd like to have. This is another text object down here that's giving some information to the students that are going to be filling out the form. And lastly, there's a little photograph for the design feature. So now I'm ready to actually build the form itself. I'm going to be asking them for their name, their phone number, and their email address. So I'm going to go up to the Forms tab, and the first field I'm going to choose is a text field. Text field is different than a text box because a text field has one line, and a text box has several lines. You can put a whole paragraph in there if you want to. So I'm going to click on the text field, and I want you to notice that there's 2 things that just happened. The first thing that happened is that a field was placed on my page. The second thing is that the Object Properties dialog for that text field opened up automatically. So in this first section, I'm going to change the label of the field. I want it to say name. The label is what my client will see when they go to my web page. I can position this label to the left or the right or have no label at all. I can choose a background color. I can choose a text color. I'm going to leave everything white because my form is white. The second section, which is text input, is where I'm going to give a name to this field that I will see in my email. And I'm going to use the same title. It's going to be the name field. I'm going to leave the initial value blank. The initial value is what the customer sees in that field before they fill anything out. People are used to seeing a blank name field. The width is 30 characters, but I'm leaving this at 0 because if someone's name is longer than 30 characters, they can continue to type or key in their name in that field. I have an option to validate this field. I'm not going to. I don't know what kind of names people are using these days, so I'm just going to leave that blank. But I am going to make it required. And then I'm going to click OK. Now it's labeled as name, and I'm ready to do another one. This one will be phone. It's going to be called phone in my email. The initial value is 0. And I'm not going to validate this or make it a required field because I really don't care if I get their phone number. So I'm just going to click OK. The next one is email. This one I am going to validate. I really need everybody's correct email address. So I'm going to make sure that when they place their information in that field, it's in the form of an email. I'm also making this a required field. Now, when you have a required field and someone submits your form and they haven't filled out that section or that field, it will get a red box around it and it will display an error message. And you need to say what you want the error message to say. I'm going to say, please fill out this field, and click OK. Now I'm building my form, and I remembered that back when I did the name and made it a required field, I forgot to put in the message I wanted it to say. So I'm going to go back, and I can do this with any field at any time, and double-click to go back into this dialog, and I'm going to go down and key in an error message. Okay, that's good. The next fields I want to put in are the will attend and will not attend fields. To do that, I'm going to use radio buttons. Radio buttons are different than checkboxes. Checkboxes are items that are put on a page that allow the visitors to select more than one item. If you remember the phrase, check all that apply, you'll remember the difference between checkboxes and radio buttons. With radio buttons, you group the radio buttons together and only allow one choice in the group. For instance, if you're taking a survey and you want someone to rate your business, you only want them to have one choice in the rating. You'd use a radio button and you would make a group. I'm going to click radio button. It goes on the page and I have the same familiar dialog. I'm going to call this will attend. I have a little different values on this page, and one of the things I have is I have an opportunity to give the group a name. I'm going to name this the attendance group. The group name is what is displayed in the email when it comes to me. Now the value that's going to be assigned to this choice is this person will attend. I could actually just, if I wanted to, write yes. Anything that will tell me what their choice is. I'm going to do another one. This is will not attend. The group name is still attendance because it is in the same group. And this value is no. Now I'm going to hold down the Shift key and select both of my radio buttons, and then I'm going to click to group them together. In this dialog, I have an opportunity to name the group. I've already done that, so I'm going to click OK. The next field I'm going to make is a menu field. I want them to be able to choose how many guests they are bringing with them. So I go up to the menu. Now there is also a command called list. The difference between a list and a menu is that a list lets you choose more than one thing. For instance, if you're a realtor and you want your clients to be able to choose different types of houses, they may want to choose single, family, multiple family, manufactured home, whatever. You can have that in a list and they can choose more than one thing by holding down the control key. I'm going to use a menu because I only want them to have one choice. The way that I remember the difference between a menu and a list is I think of the menus that I find on the internet when I go to someone's site, and they have a drop-down menu and I get to choose one of the pages in the drop-down menu to link to. And so that's how I remember menus. I'm going to click on here to do a menu. The menu field is on the page, only this time I have a different box that has come up, and it's the data box. If I'm going to have a drop-down list or menu where people get to make a choice, I have to populate that menu. The way I'm going to do it is to click the Add button, and the choice is what they'll see, 0. I'm not going to bring any guests. The value is what is sent to me in my email, and I want that to be the same, 0. Now I'm going to add another one. And I'm going to do this for each of the values that I want to have. got all my values, but I have them out of order. So I'm just going to click to select number 3 and move it up the line. So now my numbers are in the correct order. I'm going to click OK to assign those numbers to my menu. Then I'm going to move the menu down here, and I want you to notice that the label still says menu. I need to go over to the Properties dialog to fix that, and the way that I do that is to right-click over this field and select Properties. Now this label is number of guests, and the name for me that I'm going to see in my email is guests. Almost done. The next thing I need to do is to put a submit button on the form. If I don't have a submit button, I'm not going to get any information from this. And this is fairly easy. I just click submit. The name of it is submit. I'm going to leave the name. The text on the button is submit. I'm going to leave that. Then we click OK. Now all I need to do is line all my objects up the way I would any other objects with the Page Layout tab. Once I get everything looking the way I'd like it to look, I'm going to assign the tab order. The tab order is something that people are very familiar with. When they fill out a form, they expect to fill in one field, tab, and go to the next field. To assign the tab order is very simple. You hold down the Shift key, and I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to click on each field in the order that I want the tab to take the guest. When that's done, I'm going to go to Forms and click Tab Order. That's all there is to it. Now I want to check to make sure I applied the tab order the way I wanted to. I'm going to just double-click on Email and go up here to the right-hand side, and I notice that the tab order is number 3, and that's how I want it. So that's a nice little validation of my form. The next step is to group the form together. Let's go over to this page. There's my form. And the group form object is something that tells where to send the information that the form collects, and it gives information, it gives server information. So every form has to be grouped in order for the information to go from your website to your email. I'm going to click on a blank spot of the background, hold down the mouse key, and drag. And I'm going to drag that dotted rectangle around the form so that everything in the form and on the form is selected. Then I'm going to go to Group Form. And two things happened again. One is this gray rectangle with the red border is now behind all of the fields in my form, and a new property dialog has opened. I'm going to start here by entering my email. My email address is where I want the information from the form to go. It is where I will receive all the information from the form. For the purpose of this webinar, I created a Gmail account, and don't send anything there. I don't monitor that account at all. This is the recital. My name is Linda. I'm the one that's creating the form. The form is being submitted from greenstudio.com, and the email is info@greenstudio.com. The form name is the recital. And I can choose, when I begin to link up my pages, I can choose a success page so that after someone submits the form, you can send them to a page that says, thank you for your submission, we've received your form, or anything you'd like it to say. When I'm done with that, I'm going to click OK. It's really important that this gray form object be in the back of all of the fields. And the way that you can check to make sure it's behind all of the fields is to press with the mouse button and drag the form field around. And if everything moves with it, then it's in correct position. If one of the fields on the form doesn't move with it, it means that that field is not in front of the group form object. So simply click on the group form object, go to page layout, and send it to the back. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test the form. Now before I test the form, I'm going to check on 3 things. Do I have a submit button? Yes, I do. Do I have the group object in the back? Yes, I do. Have I entered an email so I can receive the information? I'm going to double click, check one more time. There's my email. When I'm going to check the form, there are 2 different places I can do that. The first place is in the Forms tab. And there is a command for test the form. You can use this command if your form is on the home page of your website or if you've already linked your pages to your home page. If you have not linked yet, and I have not done that, I'm just creating a form on an odd page and I just want to check the form. So I'm going to go over to the Preview Upload Host page. And I'm going to click on Live Page. Live Page is a command that will place my page on the Internet for 48 hours using the Web Studio's Cumulus Content Server. Web Studio will host this for you for 48 hours. You can save it. You can go back and visit it as many times as you want during that 48 hours. You can send the link to other people. And you can have different people fill out the form and send you information so that you can really get a feel for how this form works. I'm going to click Live Page right now. I'm going to get a message that my website is building to the remote server. And then it says my page has been successfully uploaded to Cumulus Content Hosting. So I'm going to click OK. And here's my page and my form. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to fill out the form. I'm going to pretend I'm Amber. I will attend, and I'm going to bring 2 guests. Now, if I click will not attend, it will automatically unclick the other one, uncheck the other one. So I'm going to say I will attend. I'm bringing 2 guests, and I'm submitting. Notice that the form fields are now empty, and if I had a success page, I would have gone to the success page. Before I leave here, I'm going to go up top. I'm going to copy that shortcut, and this is just something I do. And I come over to my website, and I paste the shortcut. As you can see, here's my last one that I did. I better change the text color so that you can see it. And now if I want to revisit this in the next 48 hours, I just have to copy and paste that into my browser. You can check these forms numerous times. You don't have to just do it one time. You can just check and recheck, I think up to 40 times in a 48-hour period. So now it's time to see what the information looked like. I'm going to move my email over to the screen so you can see it. And as you can see, I received from FormMail the recital form that was submitted by Amber. The subject is recital. My name is Linda. The person who submitted is Amber. Here's her telephone number, her email address. She will attend, and she's bringing 2 guests. That's how easy it is to make your form and receive all the information in your email. I'm going to just mention one other thing, where you can get help with your forms. I think one of the things that can be confusing with forms is, what are the fields and what do they do? Web Studio has built into it video tutorials that show you every single form field and how it works. You go to the group, and there's always an arrow at the bottom on the right-hand side. And when you click that arrow, it opens up the tutorial. You can watch the tutorial and see exactly what that checkbox does. You can do that for every one of your form fields. So as you're building your form, if you can't remember exactly what is that menu, what is that list, just click on that video and watch it. The second thing you can do is you can go to our wiki. And I'm going to bring the internet back up here and show you the home page of the wiki. Down here on the left-hand side is a topical index link. And if you go to Forms and click on Forms, you'll see all of the form articles that are in the wiki. You can click on Form Fields, for instance, and it'll show you a photo, or a graphic, I should say, of each of the form fields, and it will tell you how the field works, and it actually gives you a link to a longer description and shows you how to use it. So I hope you have fun making your forms. Thank you for joining us today.